Hey guys, this is the final video of the series, and it's going to be about the final three zones, Blade's Edge, Netherstorm, and Shadowmoon Valley. I also do want to talk about large prismatics and the stat scrolls a bit, because they're going to be very contested items, and for good reason. They did really well last Burning Crusade, and they're probably going to do really well this Burning Crusade. Again, this isn't a buy list. I don't know the prices, it's just a list of potential good deals and flips, so use your own judgment. Let's start with Blade's Edge, and honestly there's not much here that we haven't already talked about. The only thing new is the Nether Dragon Scales, which are obtained from skinning certain mobs. And they are used in both the Nether Scale set and the Nether Strike set. Now, I'm really not sure how much demand there will be for the Nether Scale set. It's for enhancement shamans, but it's replaced with tier gear in phase 1, so it might not be very attractive for them to get this at all. It'll probably be only the most hardcore players going for this one. Now the Nether Strike set is a bit different because it's best in slot for all of phase 1, and I expect most elemental shamans will go after this one. It is 72 scales to make, but since it's only desired by a single class and by a single spec, I'm really not sure how these will do, but I think it's still worth keeping an eye on and maybe pick some up if they're cheap. And yeah, that's it. There's not much in Blade's Edge that we haven't already talked about. So let's move on to Netherstorm. Now the first thing I'm going to touch on isn't an item, but it's a quest that unlocks an item drop. And this item is the Ethereum Prison Key, which give reputation with the Consortium. They're going to be in high demand early since the Consortium has a really good recipe at Exalted, which is the Relentless Earthstorm Diamond Craft. A lot of jewel crafters are going to want this. And as far as I know, only people who have done the quest get to see these items even drop and roll on them. If you don't have the quest, if you haven't done the quest, then you can't even see the items when they drop. And they do drop in instances such as Architraves and Heroic Mana Tombs. So some of you know exactly where I'm going with this. If you're in a group and you're the only one who's done the quest, you get every single key because the other players can't even roll on them. So this is a little cheeky way to earn yourself some extra gold while you're leveling. Especially if you're leveling in a dungeon group, maybe excuse yourself for 30 minutes to an hour and come back with the quest done. The quest in question is a small chain, started with a quest called A Mission of Mercy, and it needs Honored with the Consortium to start, which you'll probably be if you spammed Mana Tombs to level. So moving on, in Netherstorm we also have Primal Mana in pretty large quantities. A ton of stuff drops this all over the zone. There's going to be a lot. This is used in the Caster DPS Spell Threads, Super Sapper Charges, Primal Mites, and Spellcloths. Now, since players will already be around level 70 when they're in this zone, they might just need them right away for Primal Mites and Spellcloth, because there's going to be an immediate demand for them. The Spell Threads, at least the rare versions, they're going to be put on pre-raid disc. People are going to use them right away. So there's probably not going to be much time to play this Primal. However, Super Sapper Charges may only spike in demand right before raiding starts. Players aren't going to make their Super Sapper Charges like a week before raid, right? They're going to make them just before the raid. So just something to keep in mind. The final item that I want to talk about in Netherstorm is Bottled Nethergon Energy, which is an instance drop from instances in Netherstorm. And I'm sure this one's pretty obvious. It's basically just a mana potion that can only be used in Tempest Keep and its associated dungeons. And Tempest Keep's not even going to be out yet in phase 1, so the demand for this is going to be really low. Supply is going to be very high, and people will want them more in phase 2, but how much they're going to want them more, I don't know, because the content's nerfed. It might be really easy, they might not need it, so I'd only really consider getting these if they're mega cheap and not really expect much from it. Okay, there's more stuff in Netherstorm, but it's basically all the stuff we talked about before in previous videos, so let's go to the final zone, Shadowmoon Valley. There's a couple pretty good ingredients in here, the first being Serpent Scales. These are a rare skinning drop from snake-type mobs, and I believe it's only 10%. They're going to be pretty rare. And it's used in the physical DPS leg enchant. It's going to be in high demand, most likely immediately, and I don't know if there's going to be any time to play this. It might just always be expensive, since people are going to be getting these around level 70, and then they're going to need them at level 70, so it's just something to keep watch over. The next item we have is the Nightmare Seed, and this is a rare drop when gathering the herb Nightmare Vines. I think it's only 10% as well. The Nightmare Vines will probably always be pretty expensive since they're recommended in the Alchemy 375 leveling guide, so people are going to need them right away. They're going to get them close to level 70 and they're going to need them right away. But the Nightmare Seeds are a different story. It's basically just a better Hellstone since it both heals you and gives you temporary health at the same time. I have no clue if these are going to be good or not, but they seem like a really good consumable just to have on you. Because they're basically, it's just a better Hellstone that you don't need to trade a Warlock for. So if they're cheap, I definitely recommend loading up on these early just for your own use. It's just nice to have an extra Healthstone at all times in your inventory, right? So Shadowmoon Valley, it's also a great place to farm primals, but we've basically already covered all of that in previous videos, so I'm not going to talk about it in this one. Let's take a quick look at what we can find in instances, because this will be a meta strat to get to 70 quickly, and there's going to be a lot of players not leveling in zones, but leveling in instances. So what are they going to get in instances? And the big one is, of course, the Scrolls of Agility 5 and the Scroll of Strength 5. We can't forget about these because they did so well last Burning Crusade, and they're probably going to do so well this Burning Crusade. The supply of these is going to be high early, with them being found from mobs in these instances and from fishing. They got seriously expensive at the end of last TBC, and I don't see why they just wouldn't do the exact same thing again. Pay close attention to these. Now, last but not least, we have the large prismatic shard, and this is used in so many things. A lot of players already know about this. So much new gear needs to be enchanted, and if players do PvP, they need to enchant multiple sets of gear. On top of that, we have the sped up release of TBC with all the same arena seasons and epic gear from vendors. So the pace of new gear being released is going to be faster than the farming rate of the prismatics was previously. So yes, you understood that correctly. By speeding up the timeline, Blizzard likely made one of the most expensive materials even more expensive. And they did get expensive near the end of the Burning Crusade. Unfortunately, many people already know this. Everyone's probably planning on putting all their gold into large prismatics at the very start of the expansion. And it's probably going to work. Everyone doing this is probably going to make a lot of gold. So what I want to bring your attention to isn't the large prismatic being a good investment, but rather the shuffles associated with it. Crafters can make items that turn into large prismatic shards. So if the large prismatic shards starts getting too expensive, you can take a look at the materials used to craft items that disenchant into large prismatics and maybe get a better deal. So let's look at them right now. What items can we use that disenchant into a large prismatic? And these are 12 arcane dusts and 36 netherweave cloth make a large prismatic. If the large prismatic is getting too expensive, you can just buy arcane dust and craft gear and disenchant it, right? And here is the one that makes me very concerned. The one that's 1 shadow pearl plus 12 jago pearls and 3 motes of water equals a large prismatic shard. Because here I didn't realize, and I only realized quite recently, is that this can be botted. Now, there's people that are going to be saying shadow pearls are really rare. That's not going to happen, but golden pearls were supposed to be rare during this classic run, and they weren't because they were botted into the ground and ended up being super common. So who knows what happens here? If the bots hit this really hard, they could destroy the large prismatic market. We'll have to see. Nothing would surprise me at this point, though. It's just something to keep in mind. What I'm getting at from all this is that if the large prismatics are super inflating and getting to a ridiculous price, look at the underlying materials. You can just buy that instead and craft the large prismatics in your own time. As always, thanks for listening.